Known as the toughest, most grueling off-road race in the world is what's known as King of the Hammers. Every year in the barren, dry lake bed of Johnson Valley, California, over 100,000 people come to participate and spectate the marvelous wonders of custom-built vehicles conquering one of the harshest terrains on the planet. In fact, just preparing for King of the Hammers, race teams will often face challenges even more difficult than the race itself. After all, these custom-built, desert racing, rock crawling, has-to-do-it-all type of vehicles will need to endure a race that's over 100 miles of sharp, jagged rocks, massive boulders, steep mountainsides, and all while still being able to cross what seems like endless vast amounts of unpredictable desert terrains at high speeds of often consistently over 100 miles an hour. This preparation can take months, sometimes even years before the event takes place, and even then, no one ever really feels like they're completely 100% ready. For Kenda Tires, this year would prove to be an exceptionally exciting year, as although Kenda Tires has been coming to King of the Hammers as a vendor for the last few years, this year was the first year that not only one, but two different race teams will be featuring Kenda Tires on the race vehicles. More specifically, Kenda's new mud terrain, the Cleaver MT2. Even though the Kenda Tires team and their sponsored race teams, both number 4628 Sherpa Motorsports, which is Alex Fleming and his team from Sherpa Equipment, and number 717 Kryptonite Customs, which is Ryan Webb and his race team, have all been preparing for the biggest race of the year for many months now, we were finally down to just a few weeks in the countdown to King of the Hammers. And to see what it really looks like from an outside perspective, we first caught up with Alex Fleming and his team at their Sherpa Equipment headquarters located in Loveland, Colorado. If you're not already familiar with Sherpa Equipment, they're primarily a Toyota SUV and truck outfitters company specializing in cargo management, more specifically roof racks, but have an entire line of fabricated accessories for all different brands of vehicles. How exactly did that turn into building a race vehicle to compete in the world's toughest off-road race? For Alex, it all started when he joined his business partner and CEO of Sherpa Equipment, and now co-driver, Will Oliver, on the pit crew of another race team many years ago at King of the Hammers. And since then, it has become a mission for both gentlemen to compete and ultimately win at the world's toughest off-road race. Now, just 3 weeks away, the Sherpa team is on a mad dash in getting their 4600 Class 4 runner put back together again in time to be able to test its capabilities in Johnson Valley before competing. As the clock was winding down, it was apparent there was still plenty to do. The engine was out of it in order to clearance and install a more robust rack and pinion for the steering, and while the engine was out, it received several new components as well, a new starter just being one of them. Overall, there was still a daunting list of tasks to complete, and the team was starting to feel the pressure of a deadline breathing down their backs, albeit also exuberating confidence at the same time that everything will be done and ready to go before they were about to leave, just 6 days later from the day we had filmed at their shop. Then, from Sherpa headquarters in Loveland, it was time to head down to Phoenix, Arizona and meet up with Kenda Mike to prepare his custom-built 1988 Chevy K5 Blazer, deemed appropriately the Kenda K5, for the 300-mile journey from Phoenix to Johnson Valley, California. For true off-road enthusiasts, like the team at Kenda Tires, it's not just the racers who have a daunting list of tasks to get done before arriving at King of the Hammers. For Kenda Mike, who also coordinates many of the moving parts needed to have a successful vendor booth at all of the shows throughout the year, this also means having his K5 maintained, possibly repaired, updated with any new upgrades, and ready for the long haul to make it to every Kenda Tires off-road venue destination throughout the year. Like Sherpa, Mike and Tyler, a Kenda ambassador and friend who was storing Mike's K5 at his house in Phoenix while helping him get it ready for KOH, also had their hands full with a tight deadline looming over their heads. Because Kenda Mike uses his customized K5 as a trail rig and a promotional vehicle by showing off the recently debuted 37-inch tall Kenda Cleaver RTs for every Kenda Tires related event, it's no surprise that it was due for a pretty extensive maintenance overhaul if it was going to make it to King of the Hammers. And because on the last Kenda sponsored trail ride, an unexpected electrical issue caused major damage to the entire charging system, everything from the batteries to the alternator to even the wiring, all of it needed to be replaced before the next event. Fortunately, before Mike had even arrived at Tyler's house, Tyler and Tommy, another Kenda Tire ambassador, were able to have all of the electrical system replaced and rewired. Now, like everyone with some sort of modified vehicle and every racer out there, we all know just replacing a part sounds simple, but it never is. Well, maybe occasionally we get lucky, but in this case, there was no such luck to be found as Mike went to install the water manifold housing, only to find out one of the cast aluminum mounting sections wasn't even close to fitting on the engine block and had to be custom machined in order to fit the mounting bolt through it properly. Fortunately, Tyler had a connection. A friend of his with a machine shop in his garage said to come on over and he would help get it taken care of right away. Of which, again, a huge thank you is owed to Jake for helping out on such a short notice. So what was originally thought to be completed on the first day of working on Mike's K5 is now getting towards the end of the second day and is now finally time to fire up the engine. Mike double checks all of the electrical connections along with other minor odds and ends. He then makes sure that there's plenty of gas in the tank, and with the push of a button, out comes the sweet music from the roar of the modified LS. A pinnacle turning point and feeling like progress is one step closer in making the departure deadline in -2 days, but with a massive list of tasks still yet to complete. Fortunately though, most of the difficult challenges were in the rear view, and from here, one by one, the Kenda K5 was getting everything it needed, with literally not a moment to spare, as the morning of departing for King of the Hammers had arrived while Mike was still finishing up some last-minute preparations. But that's pretty standard for just about any enthusiast or race team as far as preparations for attending a motorsports race event goes. It's endless nights, gallons of caffeinated beverages consumed, setback after setback, and one creative problem to solve after another. However, when it's finally showtime or time to race, whatever the event might be, the flood of adrenaline and excitement makes it all worth it in the end. Regardless if you are actually 100% prepared or not, the only thing you can really do at this point is strap in, hold the skinny pedal to the floor, hope that all of your preparations paid off, and enjoy the ride. And this is where we're going to leave off in part 1. So make sure and stay tuned for part 2 as we continue our King of the Hammers journey, where we find out if Mike's K5 makes it to the trip to Johnson Valley. We also meet up with both race teams from Sherpa Motorsports and the team from Kryptonite Customs to get an in-depth look at the not even released to the public yet Kenda Cleaver MT2s. Plus a behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like to experience the mystical wonders of what was just a dried lake bed weeks before the event and is now a makeshift desert city of over 100,000 people. So you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for part 2. Keep in mind that if you guys are looking to purchase your next set of Kenda tires, jump on kendatire.com, click on the dealer locator near you, and visit your local dealer to find out which Kenda tire is best for you. But before heading over to kendatire.com, let us know if you have ever been to King of the Hammers. If you have, what is your favorite thing about it? If you've never been there before, what would be the biggest question you would have about King of the Hammers? Would be great to hear from all of you by letting us know in the comments below. As always guys, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from Kenda Tires, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.